Let's go back to the very start of all this.
Okay.
Why were you interested in even indulging in this kind of plot against Dorit at all?
You know, I made a mistake. Truthfully, that's the long and short of it. And I think they banked on the fact that my anger towards Dorit would surpass my moral compass. And in the end, it didn't. But, you know, at the beginning, I was like, okay, sure, this is what, I'll help you guys. Let's do this.
Was it, you had this time between seasons to kind of sit and stew and everything that went down? Or?
There was something that happened after the reunion where I was in the car with Kyle and Lisa was in the car with Dorit and we were all supposed to go to dinner and then Lisa called and she was like, oh, Dorit refuses to go to dinner if Teddi's there. So it was like little things like that kept happening.
Did you ever have any conversations directly with Lisa about the dog situation, or was it all through the Vanderpump Dogs people?
It was all through the Vanderpump Dogs people. There was no doubt in my mind that this was Lisa and Vanderpump Dogs wanting me to do it, and I regret going down that road at all. I should have from the very get-go said, you know what, this doesn't involve me, leave me out of it, but I didn't.
Why would Lisa want to make her close friend Dorit look bad?
I think she was angry about things that Dorit said to her last year, and I don't think she was over it, and I think that she wanted to punish Dorit. And, you know, I think that I was an easy person to help do that for her.
We had this text message sent to Dorit, and the timeline doesn't make sense.
How did you know to text Dorit? Dorit, Teddi knows.
Of course I knew you knew. Of course I knew.
How did you know that Teddi knew?
I didn't know at the time Teddi knew.
But you said that they sent a text saying to her, Teddi knows.
Will we get resolution and a clear answer on that?
I never got a clear answer from Lisa Vanderpump because she won't take ownership in anything. And I think what a lot of people have been confused about, there's like, when you're in the Bahamas and you're saying, I don't like, at that point I had already told the women, like, I've been involved. The point was, like, I'm saying, listen, I'm involved, but this story all stemmed from something she wanted out there. I'm not saying that I didn't make a huge mistake here, but, you know, I was used to get the point across.
The next kind of step in this saga is the story getting out to the press.
Right.
And how all that plays out. Will we get firm answers on what exactly happened with that?
No, I mean, obviously, regardless of who leaked it to the press, it was to get ahead of it so that the viewers would already have their opinions about Dorit and the dog before everybody started watching the season. That's clear. Who leaked it? I don't really care. You know, like, but it only benefits one person.
Got it.
So.
And it's a complicated thing because I know you guys have contracts and stuff. You can't speak out about certain things that are happening while you're filming and all that. So it was really putting Dorit in a tough place because...
Yeah, she can't stand up for herself. When I said, like, I was told a really salacious, like, fake story to get me amped up, and that wasn't true.
That Dorit had locked that dog in her basement, and it hadn't seen the light of day in months.
John Sessa tweeted, basically confirming that you were told that story because he said, we didn't want all these details out there.
Come on! The truth is, that story has changed multiple times. And by the time I had even filmed at Vanderpump Dogs, I was given a completely new story. So it's like, that's why it never became about the dog. It became about friendships. Because it really wasn't about the dog. The dog was safe. And where people are like, don't you love dogs? Of course I love dogs. I mean, who doesn't love dogs? But, you know, you just can't keep changing your story.
Have you spoken to John Blizzard since all of this happened?
So I spoke to him in the Bahamas, actually, because I was very upset. I was like, I can't believe I was used as a pawn. And he agreed with me. He's like, how did we become the bad people? Like, how did this become on us? But then other than that, we haven't had any communication until yesterday when he tweeted again at me.
Yes, and shared more text messages.
And I was like, great, you just confirmed my point.
It seemed like he was putting that text out there to make you look like you were using Vanderpump to get your brother on the show, but in reality, he exposed more information about...
Oh, you just really cleared it up that you guys started inviting me to things. All of these things started happening after I was given that information to give that friendship illusion. But let's be clear, if it wasn't a Vanderpump event or a Vanderpump something, we were never together.
Right.
I think it was pretty clear when you organize a meeting with production to have a interview with your brother on Vanderpump Rules, you're pretty clear you're trying to get him on the show.
Right.
Like, I don't think I was shady in that.
Right. When was the last time you spoke to Lisa Vanderpump?
I think it was Denise's wedding.
Okay.
I know that other women had spoken to her since, but I mean, and her and I, like I said, like we, you know, I can coexist, so it was fine.
When you saw that footage of her in the car driving away.
What about Teddi? She's just like, well, I guess we'll just agree to coexist. It's like, you should be so lucky, bitch.
What did you think?
That's her true colors. That's always how she thinks. You know, she let her persona down and showed who she is.
If you were to have Lisa in front of you today, what would you say to her?
I don't really have anything to say. I'm not pushing to build any relationship with her. I'm fine to be at the same room with her. I'm fine if the girls, each of their relationships are their own, so they should do what they want. But I'm really good.
Is the door open for reconciliation, or?
I don't think it's possible for reconciliation without truth, without being honest, without being vulnerable.
And we know sooner rather than later she pulled away from the group. What was the big moment that led to that? Was it that fight with Kyle at Villa Rosa?
Yeah.
You are not her friend.
Yes, I f***ing am.
Goodbye, Kyle.
Get the f*** out of my house. I swear to you, I'm done with it.
When Kyle came back to the group and told you guys what had happened at Villa Rosa, what did you think?
There's no need for that level of anger and for your husband to do that and to not stop your husband. To me, that's really telling.
The next opportunity you guys might have to see Vanderpump is at the reunion. Do you think she will show up?
I don't know, probably. I really have no idea.
Lisa's fans are kind of fiercely protective of her, to put it lightly, on social media. How are you handling those attacks?
Some stuff, I think it's taking it too far. But to go on somebody's page and attack them to the level of like, you're a disgusting, ugly, vile human being and I hope your kids are bullied at school, that's like, okay. Let's take a little breath here. Like, I'm still a real human being, and this is not necessary.
Will more information come out in the coming weeks that might change some of those fans' minds?
I don't think so.
On the flip side, there are people who are saying Teddi is finally the one who has been able to have the group see Vanderpump's true colors. Like, many women have come in and tried. We've had Brandy do it. We've had Eileen do it.
It's not necessarily me. If something continues to happen over and over and over and over again, you can only sit there and watch it so many times, or you can only turn a blind eye to something so many times until it's really tiresome.
Yeah.
And it becomes exhausting. And the level that somebody will go to, and to take somebody else down while pretending to be a hero, it's time consuming.
Some fans feel like this is taking Al Capone down on tax charges. Like, this dog thing feels little compared to other things she's done in the past.
Truthfully, nobody needed some grand apology. It could have been like, listen, I just let things get too far. I was upset.
Right.
That's really all it would have taken. I mean, we're a forgiving bunch. We all, like, we see what the fans are saying. And yes, of course, it would have made more sense for Dorit to take the dog originally back to Vanderpump Dogs. But if that was the case, when Dorit called Lisa and said, hey, I gave the dog away to this woman, why that day didn't Lisa say, go pick that dog up and bring it back to Vanderpump Dogs? It makes no sense.
If she does make it to the reunion, is there a place in this group for her moving forward?
Of course. I mean, this is the thing. I think that the women have gone through a lot worse, a lot more. I mean, everybody's in a place where we figure it out.